wanted to do a sustainable house. I didn't want the house to come across like a hippie house. I wanted it to look like every other house around, because one of my goals was to show people that you didn't have to be weird to go sustainable. Just looking at all the developments that are going on and taking up beautiful land around here, it just seemed that that was the better way to go.
What I really like to do is spend a lot of time on the site. It's a way that you can really kind of see the cycle of life. You can see the sunrise and the sunset, and then you start to think about what architecture can be created on this landscape that would be sympathetic with it. And when you talk about sympathy with the landscape, one of the first things you look at is how is the water moving over the site. You really want to create an architectural footprint that has a minimal impact on the natural flow of water on a site. For this particular project, the runoff is very good. It's natural. We didn't have to deal with a lot of swales or water running along the back of the house where we'd have to figure out ways to move it. It's a very natural way to shed the water because it was the existing way the water was shedding. But then we're left with our impervious surface, our roadways, our courtyards, and how are we going to deal with that water? The courtyard is a crushed gravel, so the water can actually percolate through, so we don't have to worry about putting it into swales and moving it off the site or collecting it. And that's the majority of the paving here. Then we wanted to collect water off the roofs, but because the main house has curvaceous roofs, it's very difficult to create a gutter system that will collect that. So we chose not to collect the water on the main house. We chose to collect the water off of the barn because you can have standard gutters. We collected that water through our downspouts, filtered it, and then brought it into a very large cistern.
Collecting rainwater, boy, that's a no-brainer. Everybody should be doing that. We use it for irrigation and our toilets, and then we also use it for the barn. I wish we'd used it for our laundry. Washing dishes, that would have been nice too, yeah. I don't know why we couldn't have. Yeah, I think we should have pushed ourselves a little bit more. This cistern can hold 1,300 gallons, and if there's no drought, we can't keep up. I mean, it's full all the time.
With the main house, because we don't have gutters, when it rains, it drips down into gravel which surrounds the building, and then we had perforated pipes. So the water sheds off of the roof, down into the gravel, into the perforated pipes, and gets discharged into their gardens, and then gets held in small stone retention basins. But if they fill up, it'll just discharge out onto the site.
We did not want a lawn because that, we did know, was a big waste of water as well as natural resources. Lawns are boring, and the garden is part of the house, especially the flowers. They really come in through the windows. In designing the garden, we have native plants, so we're not trying to force a plant that doesn't belong here, and drought-resistant plants where needed. The watering, first couple of years, yes, I don't water this garden. Living here, you don't feel that you're in a sustainable house. You walk in and you say, this is a normal house. Oh, by the way, you recycle your water, or you do this, or you do that. And it just makes a lot of sense.
There's a real need to create houses that are sustainable, that burn less fossil fuels, that are healthy environments to live in, and that reintroduce us back to nature, to understand that we are fundamentally connected to nature, and that what we do to nature has a result.